Hello and welcome to Infamous MCP, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is CJ. I am currently still going by just CJ.
This is Zach. I go by not CJ.
And this is Josh. I go by Grumelzog CJ.
And this is Brandon. I go by not Zach or Josh.
But you'll go by CJ?
Sure.
Okay, cool. That's fine with me. I can share.
Sometimes you gotta see them J's. Alrighty. So, back at it again today. The long-awaited Extract Review episode. I expect this is gonna make friends create enemies and destroy lives. Mostly mine.
Yeah, all hate mail directed to Brandon's inbox on Discord. He'll answer for us.
No. I think you should direct your hate mail to Parker.
Oh, yeah, perfect,
For
actually.
many reasons that we'll get into later.
I also vote we should direct it to Parker.
Josh, are you in a wind tunnel? You sound like you're in a wind tunnel all of a sudden.
No?
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Cool. Alright, so I guess let's jump right into it. Yeah, we're going to start here today. Alright, so Extract Review. Over the past 13 weeks, we've been rating all of the Extract missions. And now we're going to give our final ratings. We're going to rate all of them 1 through 10. We have 6 cast members have rated them, so 2 people are phone a friend. And then at the end of it, we'll have an average rating on a scale of 1 to 10. And then we'll have a quick discussion about each mission. So starting off in alphabetical order, we have alien ship crashes in downtown. So starting with myself, Brandon, I gave this a 7.
This is Zach. Gave it a 6.
This is Josh. I also gave it a 6.
I gave it a 7.
Then Parker gave it a 4, and Aaron gave it a 10. This gives us an average score of 6.67, with the lowest score being Parker and the highest score being Aaron.
Oh, no.
Who cannot defend themselves. They're clearly both hugely wrong. I had a quick discussion with Aaron in between the podcast today about why he gave these a 10. His idea was there's basically 3 missions in the game that are acceptable to allow you to play the game at a reasonable level. All the other missions are bad for the game and should be erased. And so I was like, I don't disagree with you on that point, but that's a little extreme for a bell curve, but we'll get into more of his ratings later. Parker cannot defend himself. What do you guys think?
About Parker and Aaron, or just in general?
So we clearly, we were in the 6 to 7 range collectively, and so we obviously mostly agreed that this is a good mission. I don't think anybody would argue it's a perfect mission, except for Aaron, apparently.
Yeah, that's one of his acceptable ones.
Yeah.
Yes or no, very binary. Yeah, I think we all are kind of consensus on alien ships.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on to our next mission, we have Deadly Legacy Virus Cured. I gave this mission a 9.
I gave it a 6.
Gave it an 8.
I also gave it a 9.
And then Parker gave it a 5, and Aaron gave it, again, a 10.
What the fuck is Parker on?
What is Aaron on?
I mean, that's just only one more point off from what we rated it, Brandon. I don't think he's too far out. Like, if you really like Legacy Virus, I could see. I almost gave this a 10.
Yeah. So I considered it, but I didn't because I think in my mind, if you rate anything a 10, that is the best it can be. Nothing is better than it. There's never a time a mission can come out that's better than that, and I don't think that's true. I don't even want to give it a 9. It's just by far the best mission on this list in my mind, and that's the only reason it pushed it to a 9. I think the old version of Legacy Virus had a lot of problems. The fact that you could sell out for the score 8 strategy. The fact that it's now 6 and it happens at the end of the turn. There's a lot of better things about it. It's really hard to abuse this mission currently. And I think it's just the only thing keeping the scenario system held together at this point.
It's the duct tape that holds the game together at this point.
Yeah, it's fucking the super glued wing on the airplane. Like, it's barely hanging on, but it's keeping the thing moving. All right. So I guess we'll move on to the next one. This one I expect a lot of conversation on. Fear grips world as worthy terrorized citizens. I gave this a 5.
I gave this an 8.
Gave it a 10.
I also gave it an 8.
Parker scored this a 7. Aaron scored it a 4.
Aaron, I don't know if you'll hear this, but you're a coward.
Coward.
You're a
so
coward.
I think the thing to remember about this is there's many things that go into a mission. I think the concept of a de-deploy extract is fine. The part where we get into the issues is A, you can hold multiple tokens, B, it gives you a huge bonus versus like a minor bonus that most objectives would, right? It's like way better than all the other objectives bonuses. Then also, because of the bonus it gives you, it creates really swingy engagements. There has been in the past many lists and characters that really fucking abuse this mission, and that's why I gave it such a low rating. I think in today's meta, it's not as bad as it was, but like when Thanos and Eye on the Prize was out, this is a 1. This mission was an auto loss against Thanos. You cannot win that game. I've never seen Thanos lose on hammers, and I don't think I ever will. I just don't understand how you could allow that mission to exist for as long as it did in that environment. Now, Eyes is gone. There's still ways you can get them. The main thing that kept me from rating it higher is the grunt extract pickers. The fact that Nick Fury can still double grab these on the center line is a problem. And the fact that it's never been addressed, I think, is an issue.
Yeah, I think this is the mission that probably needs a touch. I rated it very highly because I have fun on this mission. I think the effect is good. The only thing I really wish they would change is that you can only hold one hammer. Because even in the lore and stuff, like that they base the mission on the comic event, you only get one hammer. Nobody's holding 4 goddamn hammers.
I love
I
this
think
mission.
the stacking ability is the problem.
I love this mission. I would play this mission every game. I had a tournament at the Geekery where I legitimately played hammers all 4 rounds, and it was fantastic. I had a blast. I get that it kind of starts skewing, but I've had a lot of fun games where it's like I pick up 2 hammers, they pick up 2 hammers, one of us dazes the other. Now they have 4 hammers, so then I daze them and the next person picks it up and has 4 hammers, and then it's just like swapping the 4 hammers over and over, and it gets silly and very fun. And I also, as a higher like game design, I feel like this has the least worst extra effect where a tactics card just costs an extra power. So instead of like, it blows up and hurts everyone, or it hurts you, or it's just like pure bonus, and then there's also like a very mild downside.
So I would actually say your mild downside is why I didn't give this a 10, is I feel like the extracts as a whole, some of my rating that went into it was like there needs to be a little bit of a downside. You shouldn't just get to hold it for free and only have good things. And the 1 extra tax, but you can still stack them, to me is like, that's not good. That's not a good thing to be in there.
Yeah, it was definitely more harsh before, but it was also more confusing. So I think they did it this way for ease of streamlining. I don't think it's really supposed to be a negative. I think an extra dice on all attack rolls is too much. I think this mission probably should be changed, but it's really just has problems with game design. I think the mission in concept is great. I just don't think it performs well when put under stress by the creativeness of characters they've designed. Still, I would rather play this mission than most. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Obviously, we're kind of split on this one. All that I know for sure is that Josh is wrong. So, next up we have Inhumans Deploy Advanced Weaponry. I gave this a 7.
I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 6 as well.
I also gave it a 6. So it looks unanimous from the actual people.
Parker gives this a 4, and Aaron gives it a 5. So they're a little bit less happy with it. I think I forgot to do the averages on the previous ones. This one's average is 5.67. Legacy Virus is 7.83, and Worthy is dead on 7. So, Inhuman Weapons Deploy. I like this mission a lot. The only problem I have with it is that I think any mission that's exclusively centerline is a little rough. And the fact that there's an even number of tokens can create issues as well. There's the same Nick Fury. Nick Fury basically just breaks the centerline missions, and so because that still exists in the game and they're not going to address it, I don't like being put in a situation where just because my opponent included a random 4-point character that it completely changes the aspect of the game, because there's so few characters that can interact with that mechanic.
Yeah, I mean,
and just going going down 3-1 on the first turn is just not fair when you didn't do anything to deserve it. Yeah.
Right.
And unlike Worthy, it's like it's not a cowardice standpoint where it's like I don't want to fight you. It's just like I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm not allowed to interact with you because of the turn system of the game. I think that Parker hasn't played this mission enough to give it a higher rating. I think it's the only reason he gave it such a low rating. I know when we first started talking about it, he had a really skewed perception of it. He thought it was the worst mission in the packet. And after a discussion, he quickly turned that around. So I think he just needs to play it more.
I do like Inhumans. I feel like it's like I only gave it a 6, but that's because to me its effect is pretty mild, and I kind of like the little bit of same with spoilers. I gave Montesi the same thing. I like having that extra attack that I can't change around. I can't do anything, but like once in a great while, you're like, wait a second. I can beam 3 energy, and I don't have any energy attacks on this guy. This might do me a little something. So, that's all I've got to say about that.
I do think the Inhuman weaponry is the least important secondary effect on any mission. But I think that's kind of a good thing. I don't think every mission should have a really impactful secondary effect. All right, moving on to Montesi Formula Found. I gave this a 4.
I also gave this a 4.
I gave it a 4. I lied earlier, sorry.
I gave it a 6.
6 is bold. Parker gave this a 2. Aaron gave this a 1. He's spoken aloud about his thoughts on Montesi Formula. Average rating of 3.50. Not great. Aaron's tanking that mostly. If we just get rid of Aaron, we're up to a 4. Boom. So I think, again, this mission, this is mostly in, a rising tide raises all boats situation, except in reverse, a lowering tide lowers all boats. Montesi is always going to be above the really bad missions, and there's just a lot of really bad missions right now. And so I think that's the selling point for why it's a 4 for me. I agree with most of Aaron's points. It's just that's the thought I have on the game right now, is that when Montesi is the least bad option, that says a lot about the state of the scenario packet, and I think that's exactly the problem.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm willing to just give up a victory point starting in the game, like my opponent could just infinitely have +1 extract point, and I don't think that's the end of the world. That's a really bad mindset. But that's what it is, and I can't be proven wrong based on buff experience. So
yeah, your thoughts are the same as mine. It's just that in my head, I guess I thought that was worthy of a 6.
Yeah, I can understand. It 100% depends on what you play against. If you're playing against a lot of people that are abusing the scenarios, then Montesi is just like the hand grenade, right? It's like I'll just put us in the situation where it doesn't matter.
Yeah. This doesn't do anything again. Like I can get this back through fighting. You're not going to outscore me with 3, or you're not going to like run the score up with just 3 extracts. That's the main reason I give it a 6, is because it is a 3, which is the correct number. 4 I guess is better, but like it's a 3. It doesn't really do anything.
So I remember why I gave one a 6 and the other a 4. 6 because Inhumans is deployed in the middle, and I feel like that adds a little more fairness and interesting to a game that we both have to go get it, as opposed to Montesi, which is the only E that still exists, and it can very easily be like, move up, safe grab, move back, I'm going to pick up my back one, now I'm up 2-1 to yours, and depending on the other mission, you might have to come to me and try and dig me out, and I do not think that is good design, where one team is on defense ready to go and the other now has to play offense. It does make a little bit of a I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It causes action to happen in a game, but the whole just, oh cool, I safe picked it up and moved back and I'm sitting on a point and see what you can do. I do not think that is good game design. If there were still E's, I might have given this a 5 or a 6. Because ease on ease was a very, I run at you, you run at me, let's see what happens. But since that no longer exists,
there's still centerline secures. It's like you can play Intrusions or Mayor Fisk or Wedding Party, and you can have no back point. And so if they're taking a 5-point character to move up, pick up, extract, and run away, and then they're just not going to have that to contest secures, I don't think that's a particularly great plan. Not to mention they're going to have to pick up their back point at some time, and unless they have Angela, that's only really going to happen. Or I guess there's Namor can also do it. They're going to have a lot of options to do anything else, where it's like, okay, well now I've lost a huge chunk of my list for contesting the center line, and so I don't think it's a complete, like sacrifice. There's like I've just given up this extract point, but most missions that's going to be the case.
And I think that's about why I rated a 4. Like below what I'd want to play, but like
we all rated a 4 except for CJ, and so I think we're all in agreement that like that's not a great thing, but it's better than the alternative. Okay. Moving on, we have the next mission. Mutant extremists target U.S. senators. And we're about to fight. So we have... I gave it a 2.
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 6.
I also gave it a 4.
Parker gave this a 7. And Aaron gave it a 5. Okay. For a total rating of 4.67. You fucking lunatics gave this an average score. I am so
Josh, I need you to defend Parker on behalf of Parker. You have to answer Parker.
Well, you're the only one that voted close to him.
I'm actually scared by looking at Parker's numbers.
You realize which camp you're in, and you're like, oh, no, I didn't think I was with these guys.
Okay, so I had senators in the last list that I jammed for the last 6 months, which was my Asgardian Jailbreak, Asgard with Criminals. Beforehand, I was of the opinion with CJ, I hated seeing senators, I didn't want to play senators, it just was nonsense that I couldn't be bothered to deal with. Having now played a significant number of games with a game plan for senators, as a game design point, I do not feel like it's actually that bad, because you have to move up to pick up one, and there's a little bit of you're both standing in a dark alley with a knife, and you've got to go get the other guy, and he's got to come get you, because you can move up and pick up. They're right off the middle line, so you can move up and pick up one of theirs and leave someone hanging out there. And so then they have to debate like, oh man, well now I've got to, and if we're going to score this even, I've got to move out to their side and get one of his. And I like that gameplay because it makes me do the chain of like, well, I move here and do this, he's going to move here and do this, I'm going to move here and do this. And then we're both standing there trying to figure out how we can only move once away and get our points. And everyone is all bunched up, and to me, they were fun games. Okay. But like I said, I also, stipulation, I had an exact list and game plan for senators, and I could tell when I played newer people that did not really know what was going on, and I would just curb stomp them on this. That's why it's a 6.
You're creating a situation that doesn't exist in the game on its own.
Yeah.
Which is always going to catch new people, which is, if you're looking for free wins, sure. Like, that's an easy way to get it. I think this is the example of poor game design. Like, this is a perfect example of badly designed mission. All it does is create massive chaos and puts you in situations where the dice matter more than they ever have before. Because when you restrict your options, you lock people into making effectively bad choices, right? It's like, hey, you can only move once. Okay, so I've lost half of my flexibility on all of my models. And you're putting somebody in a situation like, now we just have to fight. In your analogy, I would say it's more like just fighting blindfolded. It's like being in a knife fight with a blindfold. You don't know what's happening. Like, you're just doing things and hoping it works out. Because just as easily, you could flub your attack roll on their guy that's stuck, and they could spike theirs, and you get punished. Like, it just puts the entire game into the realm of chaos, which is one thing I don't like about it. The second is, if either side gets any leverage, the game just ends. Like, whoever's ahead when they gain control of the game, it's just over. Like, they score too fast.
I will say that it is definitely a win more mission.
Mhm.
We won't go into this too much. I would like it to see it knocked down to 4 instead of 6. I feel like that would be a better design point.
Yeah, that'd be a totally
because
different mission.
especially like I had one game. I moved up Loki 2, one shot his Star Lord. I was then up, and I had like double moved and picked up 1, and I think I was up 5-1 or something stupid.
Yeah. No, the mission
and
just
then
creates bad situations.
everyone that he had nearby to do it, I just went, cool. And this is a character thing. I popped Loki's spender, hit everyone within 3, did damage on all of them, moved them straight back away from me, and then just started collapsing my line backwards and was like, I've got this. I'm scoring 7 every turn because I also had my 2 back points that he was never going to take from me.
Yeah,
and
that's
5
exactly
of the
what I'm saying.
extraction.
Like,
and like, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But do you think that was indicative of the decisions you guys made in the game? Or is that something that just happened despite the 2 players trying to perform stuff? You think you outplayed him that well that that's what happened, or just went completely chaotic immediately?
That's hard to say. I do feel like I played it exceptionally well because I was able to look at deployment and be like, okay, he's probably going to move up these guys first. I'll hold on to these guys. And I just had a solid plan. I hate to say I was basically almost running a script for the first 2 turns.
No, but you should be on all games.
But
like, that should be every game.
Just knew exactly what I wanted to do, who was going to do it with, and I knew from what his list was what he was going to do, and I just dominated it. And
so it sounds like though, like you had a plan and just everything went well for you.
Yes.
And then it put your opponent in a situation where they had no way to come back.
Correct.
But do you think that what you did was unachievable for other people? Like, do you think it was just you are so good at playing this mission that nobody else could do that?
No, but I think that when you have a list with a specific plan in mind that's built around playing a mission, you're just going to have an advantage over someone doing a take all comers list, and it worked supremely well for me. And I don't think that's a bad thing for game design because people are going to excel in some areas and be worse at others. And
I don't think that's
you want that because if everyone is good at everything, the game is very stale. Sure,
but the way I'm looking at this is if you have a mission that's takeable in your game, that's going to get played, just coin flip it 30% of the time, and someone can build a list that does that to somebody, then why would you play anything else if it has like that level of power? And if one person is controlling the game to that level, I would argue that's the exact opposite of balanced game design, because you should always be playing your opponent, not play your opponent playing the game. Like, they're playing against the mission as much as they're playing against you in that example. Like, you guys should both be playing each other, not be playing against the mission.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that how am I going to phrase this?
Because for me, it's a lot like when Convocation was going crazy with herbs, and it was like, well, yeah, they obviously are going to be better at it. It's the same thing with Inhumans on Fs, and same thing with X-Men used to be on Fs. It's like, well, they're playing a list that's dedicated to being good at this. They should be good at it. So Thanos with hammers, same issue. It's like, no one should be so good at it that you might lose without ever making a decision. And so if it's ever to the point where someone can just, without you really making any mistakes, the game just goes away from you, I think that's bad game.
I would agree with that. Yes, I get what you're saying now. I would agree with that.
Like, obviously, there's always going to be somebody is best at each mission.
Yes.
That's unavoidable. That has nothing to do with game design. It's just nature of facts. But I'm saying that if you can put somebody in a situation where they basically have no good options and everything they do screws them, that's obviously bad. But it sounds like on Senators it just happens a lot that you only get to make a couple decisions. Because like you said, I'm a double move and take your point. Okay, well then your only real option left is to take one of mine or give me scenario advantage. And then we're basically just going to go all out turn 2, and that's what's going to decide the game, is the first 2 or 3 activations of round 2. Is whoever wins those activations is going to get such a leg up, they're just going to like doom spiral the other guy.
Yeah, I would agree. But I also think it's one of the ones, anything with that amount of wide points, I've just seen it happen all the time. If there are more than 4 tokens on the board, the Doom Spiral is going to happen, let's say 7 times out of 10.
I don't think that's a bad opinion. I think
And
that's
so-
very true, and that's very telling.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
I think
that
that
I think you're
itself is
saying
bad
exactly
for
what I'm
the
saying.
game.
Is
Yeah.
more than 4 extract points is bad for the game.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
So his point was,
Okay.
just to reiterate, he thought it was bad, but he scored it well because he won a lot with it.
Correct.
So again, there's a difference between liking a mission and thinking it's bad
No,
game design.
like I said, I having played it a ton, I ended up hating it less than I used to, and I understood the mission better, and I think I, with a plan for it, right, would rather play it than other missions, and so
Okay.
that's a like thing, but as a game design, I don't really feel like it's that egregious compared to others.
There's definitely missions that you can get a lot better with experience, and I think this is one. I think Mayor Fisk is another big one. Okay, so Senators is at a 4.67. Moving next to the easiest one to talk about, scientific samples found in Discovered Universe. 1.
1.
I gave this a 10. No, I gave it a 1. No, I gave it a 2!
No, you didn't. You gave it a 2.
Oh, no! Heretic.
Okay. Yeah. And then, for some reason, Parker gave it a 7. I think he's never played this mission, so I'm going to throw that out for the time being. And then Aaron gave it a 1. So CJ likes this mission more than anybody else, which is weird.
I thought I had a pretty okay reasoning. It's not... This mission does something, and I think it's just... If they just take that part out where you score a fuck ton of points from just standing...
Sure, but
then it's not exciting.
That's the mission we're talking about, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It does something. I think it's not unplayable. It's just there's so much negative play experience. Is it the worst mission I've ever played? No, that's Paranoia.
I think this is worse than Paranoia.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree. Worse than Paranoia. They basically took Paranoia away, and they were like, "What if we made you hate it more? What if you were just
I do think
viscerally fucked
worse
on everything you do?"
Okay, so without Parker's rating, this puts us at a 1.2. With Parker's fake rating, it's a 2.17. We're not counting that. We're doing the 1.2. So I'm just going to leave that out. Clearly, he's never played it. Clearly.
Or he played it wrong.
Which is fair. I think he's only played like 20 games since the scenario packet came out, and I'd be surprised if he ever put samples in one of his lists. I mean, same thing. I've only played one game on samples in all that time. I've played way more games than Parker, and I will never play another game on samples. You can't fucking make me.
We'll see about that.
It's my new Spider Pulse. I just refuse to play it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like, congrats. Take my ball. I'm going home. Okay. I think we're all in agreement. This mission is just awful. I don't think anyone has anything good to say about it. It's a very poorly designed mission. If it was, like CJ said, we could make a lot of changes to it to make it playable. It's just in its current state. It scores way too fast. It's very unintuitive. Like, the concept of, like, you can make a play that would normally score you points that actually ends up losing you points, or, you know, giving your opponent more points. Like, it's just so dumb. It's really bad. Next up, we have Scrolls Infiltrate World Leadership. I think this one we might mostly agree on. 7.
6.
8.
Parker gives us an 8, and so does Aaron. Give us a total rating of 7.17. The first time everyone is within 1 point of the average rating.
Interesting that it's on Skrulls, too.
Yeah, well, Scrolls has been out for a while. It was the first scenario pack update we had.
One of the first
brought this mission in. Yeah. Obviously, nobody likes their guy getting pushed in a bad time. That always sucks. But outside of that, it's a pretty good mission. And the one thing I have to say about the pushing, as much as everyone hates their model getting pushed, it breaks scripts. You cannot run a script on Scrolls for that exact reason, which is part of the reason it's good.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll just do the oh, oops, I got pushed. Like, oh, well, that changes everything.
Yeah, it's not like it's one of those ones where if you get pushed, it's not absolutely backbreaking because you should be sending somebody who could probably recover from being pushed. You're not going to be like, all right, Iceman, go up there and grab a scroll. Let's see how you do. Oh, no, he's dead.
Yep, you're exactly right. Also, most of the time, there's terrain that you can at least minimize the damage on a push. So there's counterplay to the own mechanic. You can also take people with high physical defense to counteract the odds of failing. There's a lot of things you can do to make yourself better at this mission, and it has very little downside other than that. Okay, next mission. This is where it's going to start getting spicy again. Spider Infected invade Manhattan. 3.
7.
2.
5.
Parker gives us a 1. And Aaron gives it a 5. For an average rating of 3.83. Somehow I was the closest with a 3. Okay, so obvious things bad about is it's an F. F is too many points on our current game. The pushing is interesting because it's kind of a rubber band mechanic, because obviously whoever has the most tokens should get the most interactions and get pushed the most, which should help your opponent come back in the game. Anyone who's actually played this game, that's not how it works. It's always the guy who has 1 gets pushed and the other guy who has 4 gets not pushed at all. It's always how it fucking works. But that's just RNG, so.
My reason that I put it so low is I do not like, not everyone is created equal, and so you generally grab this, go sit on a point, right? And then you getting pushed off of the point affects certain squads more than others. And I do not like that, because it's very easy for some people to just go, cool, I'm going to use my place mechanic. Bam, I'm back on the point. Other people have to give up entire actions. And in such a fast-scoring mission with every point counting, someone giving up an action while someone else just web swings and is suddenly where they need to be, I find that to be bad. That clearly favors certain things over others, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So
there's also just a ton of characters that don't need 2 actions because their whole point is to stand like in the back or control enemy characters and stuff like that. Okay, anybody disagree strongly with our 3.8 rating, like Zach?
So I had this higher. I would say what kept it from being higher is the 5 points. I think if this was 4, I don't know that I'd really have problems with it. You talked about the rubber band mechanic. I think that's why I rated it higher. I think that's a good way of, like you said, on paper, the person who has more should get pushed more, which means they get punished for having more. That's not really how it works in reality, but like on paper, this has a bit of a rubber band that should help bring you back into the game, break up defensive bubbles, make it a little bit harder to run away in some instances. So really my only problem with it is it has 5. If this was 4, I think I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, and if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike.
That's fair.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, I think it being 5 is a problem. I think all the 5s are a problem, even though I have one pretty high.
Agreed. And my statement about like what happens when you have 4 and they have 1 is they get pushed and you don't. That's less of a comment about RNG and more a comment about the swingingness of the nature of the mission interactions. Because think about this, like most people have played 40K at some point, at least have a small experience with it. There's some dice rolls that are important and some dice rolls are not important. For example, if someone's shooting your leader with the las cannon and they're going to die to 1 hit, that 1 invulnerable save is more important than any other roll you're going to make that turn. Same thing with a leadership check on a unit in any game that has a morale system. That leadership roll is more important than all the attacks, all the armor saves, all the wound rolls, everything you've made so far this round. That 1 set of dice. And so it's the same thing for mission rules. Anytime a character is going to be potentially put into mortal danger and it's just a coin flip, it's like, that's too much chaos for me. Like, you're putting the game into the blender when it comes to like good decision making processes, and nothing is more frustrating than putting all this thought into your movement, making a great maneuver, and there's like, oh, sorry, you failed the roll, you lose anyway, and you're like, great. Like it just takes the interesting interactions out of the game for me, because it's like there's no planning around a 4+ like coin flip. Like, what are you planning? Like, you're putting all this thought into it for no reason. And it's just like, it's so many times the games are just decided like that. And this is exactly the shit I wish didn't happen. And I just wish there was a better way to handle it. Like Scrolls has a die roll that's not just random. It's based on your stats, and you can alleviate it a lot with different things. But it's in advance. You just walk over all the terrain anyway. It's like there's no way you can like back bumper your people. Like there's not really counterplay, and so it's really difficult to deal with. All right, next one. No, we just did that. Struggle for the Cube continues. We're just racking up all the original missions now. Also a 3.
6.
5.
8.
Parker gives a 3, and Aaron gives a 5. This is our second even numbered rating. This gets exactly a 5 from our team. CJ, I have a question.
Yes.
How did you give Spider Infected a 2 and Cubes a 5?
Because you can only hold one Spider Infected. Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct. They're civilians.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like Cubes is still. It's one of the
You like stacking?
In this instance, I do because there's a risk and reward for it. You could stack 3 cubes on a character and it kills them in 2 turns. They can't just hold on to it, right? Like
unless you're like Juggernaut or Crossbones.
Unless you're one of 4 or 5 characters in the game that is.
Or just anyone who can heal. Like Wong can heal himself pretty quickly.
Yeah, but like he's got to do it. You got to start with Wong and do it, right? Right? It's not like he just heals as soon as he takes the damage like a Juggernaut would. I mean,
That's true. Like the order of activations would matter, but if you're just talking about dying to the scenario, there's a lot of people that can live for effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, but it's the same thing when it comes to like any scenario. If you take a piece that's specifically designed, well, not specifically designed to counter the scenario's effects, but like someone who interacts very well with the scenario's effects. But
well, I mean, anyone with healing factor, like the X-Force and Weapon X tend to take this mission, so you're not wrong.
With X-Force. But yeah, no, it's I like it. I think as in the realm of design missions, I think this is the only time that I don't care that there's 5 on the ground when you start the mission.
Okay.
Just because there's the downside's good, the upside's good. And you can definitely there's some gaming stuff you can do with it, but yeah.
Oh, excuse me. You gave Spider Infected a 5 and this an 8. My apologies. It's a 3-point spread. Yeah. You gave it 3 higher. Josh also gave it 3 points higher. Explain.
I'm a 5, so I'm perfectly in the middle. And struggle for this cube. Kind of like what CJ was saying. The positive and the negative are fairly balanced. I don't like that it's 5 points, but it doesn't necessarily hurt you. And I'm going to say most of the game, upper rather than lower, so let's say 60% of people are like models. They're fairly designed around how much power they generate naturally, right? And so someone taking a damage but now being able to do their 2 power thing every turn that they have it feels like a decent enough trade-off for me. Obviously, there's going to be outliers that some models are just going to absolutely turn on with that extra power, and they're not going to care about the damage. Like you said, case in point, Juggernaut, cool. He's basically burning a power and losing a power, burning a power to not take a damage so that he can be neutral. That's pretty good. But for me, the main thing I gave it a higher than Spider Infected is I do not like stuff that moves me out of where I want to be. And from a game design perspective, since everyone is, like I said, not equal, I think it's better to just take the damage and have the extra than to be like, cool, I'm now entirely out of position from where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Zach, any thoughts?
I think we've talked about like that there's not enough of a trade-off. There's a whole bunch of models that can deal with this. And so then when it's as fast as it is and as many models as there are that can negate the negative effect, I actually, after hearing them talk, probably want to drop mine to a 4. Like I think this is worse.
2 points after hearing Josh
I think this
talk.
is worse as we talk about it more of just how
God damn.
how quickly
It's exactly
this can
like
get out of hand.
Yeah, it's exactly like when Josh was like, wait, I'm in the Parker camp on this one? He's like, get me out of here. Like, he immediately jumped ship. So are you changing your number to a 4?
I'm changing mine to a 4, yeah.
Oh, we got him, boys.
Bump mine up to a 10.
No!
Let's keep that average the same.
Nope, not doing it. Locked in. In fact, I'm going to drop you 2 points for suggesting that. We do not do gerrymandering here.
I don't know who Jerry is.
Yeah, this guy's a dick. Okay, so I think you both had good reasons for why your rating is higher between the 2 5s that we've talked about. I think that your numbers are still very high, considering, because obviously I voted a 3. Like that's obviously what I think. Putting an 8 on cubes to me is saying that it is one of the superior missions in our current packet, and I don't think I could ever agree with that. But I think it is, if you're in the context of it is an F and you can't do anything about changing that, and you're going to be okay with it, then I think you're not wrong that it's a solid mission. Of the 5s, it's one of the better ones. But I think anything that scores more than 4 points a turn as the absolute maximum is not good. But that's what it is. That's where we're at. So that puts our new average to 4.67. Okay. Next up, we have Terrigen Canister Fuel Doomsday Device.
Uh-oh.
News 11. I gave it a 3.
8.
7.
I also gave it a 7.
Parker gave this a 4. Aaron gave this a 5. This gives our average score a 5.67. So this is interesting. My context on this mission, which I'm just going to double check I'm thinking of the right one because I don't play Fs very often, but I'm pretty sure I have the right one.
It is very unique.
Yes, this is the one that poisons you and makes you speed short.
Yep.
I almost gave this one worse than the other. I almost gave it a 2 out of 10. And the reason is, in addition to all the other issues with 5s that we've talked about, the fact that it makes you speed short and there's nothing you can do about that, again, like Senators, takes choices away from the players. And I don't think restricting a player's choices is good game design ever, especially in the context of you're forced to do it. Like, the fact that you can just choose to not pick up scenario elements is not a choice, right? Your choice is to lose the game or lose speed. That discriminates versus particular models and model types, as well as different strategies. Making some model speed short is obviously irrelevant. Making some model speed short is incredibly relevant. That's not fair as a catch-all, but, missions aren't necessarily meant to be fair. I don't like it for many things, but the fact that it can lock you out of very important plays is nice. If you came at me with the argument of, well, they did that because on Fs there's these people that are abusing it, like, let's say, for example, Quicksilver and Inhumans, which I totally agree. It's like, hey, that's a great point. The fact that he can't just run away to the other side of the table, if that was the thought they had on the game design point, sure. But then why are all the Inhumans immune to poison? Like, right. why is it like damned if you, damned if you don't? And I don't know. I don't think that was their plan. I think they're just throwing shit at the wall is what I see with this game design. I think it's worse than the other two, and that there's an exact reason that a lot of the scenario teams don't play it. Is that it's actually worse than the other two missions.
So, see, to me, that's actually where it's well designed, is that there's a cost to having that many points on the board. Like we just talked about, I don't think there's really a cost to playing cubes if you're a scenario team. You just get to run up the score. You get to run away with them because you still have your regular speed and you have extra power to do those things. Terrigen, to me, feels like there's a cost to it. Like, you're going to be short, you're going to have less power, you can't run away, they're going to be able to chase you down. So while you're scoring more, your opponent gets to come after you. Yes.
So can I paint a setting for you and see if you disagree or agree still?
Okay.
All right. You're playing your favorite list against a Webs player. It's turn 3. They're up 4 or 5 points on you, and you're turning the corner. Right? You've got a couple other people dazed, dead. You've picked up their points so they can't pick them up with anybody else. And now you need to chase down the last 2 models they have, Black Cat and Miles. How do you plan on doing that when all your models are suddenly speed short?
Well, I agree.
Okay, so it basically just locks them into winning the game at the end of the game?
I'm going to counterpoint that, Brandon.
because they just double move and hop.
I would say
and
some of that is like
do that.
you might have walked yourself into that, right? Like you
But if
may
you
have
leave
put
the points on the
yourself in a
ground,
position. But if you're
then-
saying like, okay, if I pick this up, then I lose. But maybe if I leave this on the ground, there's an opportunity to chase them down and still win. So to me,
Well, the
that's more
fact,
like
though,
you're locking yourself into a problem.
No, but they've taken away the ability for you to do both, which is normally a thing you could do, is prevent my opponent from scoring this by picking it up myself, and then I need to chase this guy down. You can't do that. You have to leave the point unattended to chase down their runner, generally as early as possible before they get to move away again, thus leaving an unattended extract in the middle of the board that they can just double move their next person or the person that wakes up from daze and just picks it back up because you weren't allowed to pick it up because you're in pursuit mode. What sense does that make?
So I'm going to make a
How
point
is that
real
a
quick.
situation that's good for the game?
I'm going to say the two models you chose are in the egregious camp because you chose two models that have places and stealth. So you were already going to probably lose that game because they were going to move out of range. You weren't going to attack them. They've got
but making me speed short makes that a lot harder.
That's a wider game problem than this specific scenario.
Well, I don't agree with that because there are models that can catch them when they're speed short. But by making me speed short too, you've set me into an impossible situation.
Probably. But
that's my issue. Is that
your scenario
in a vacuum, I can have Zemo or Namor chase them down. There are models that can chase them, but by creating this situation, you've removed that ability entirely. And that's why I think it was random and not designed. I don't think anyone thought that out. I think they just threw shit at the wall and just see what happens.
I would agree with that point. I still like the movement shenanigans because I like that there's a cost to you picking it up and trying to get away from me. And I think if you've hit to a point where you can't swing the game, you weren't going to swing that game anyway, right? You need to understand that they can only move S. You can only move S. Not everyone that you have on your team is going to be holding one. So they're not beheld to just moving the S. You need to understand how your models are play, what they're going to try and do, what you're going to try and do, and I don't think it's that bad of a downside. The only reason I don't like it is the stupid poison. That was nonsense. But just
poison is the reason you don't like this mission.
That's the biggest non-factor in this mission.
The S move does not
I agree.
bother me.
I don't think the poisons are really that relevant. So many poisons in today's game are immune, or so many models are immune to poison already. And the ones that aren't can usually just not care for the most part. It is relevant. There are models that don't like getting poisons. A lot of the webs players are on that list. Like there's not a zero argument that it poisons the web weary characters that helps you, but also those are the same characters that can afford to shake it. So, because you pick it up, you immediately make the roll. You're like, cool, second action, shake poison. You're like,
yeah, for the back too.
Like,
that's definitely what you do.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, like, and then it's like, oh no, like my fucking Bill picked up the one in the middle. He's immune to poison. So, like, I don't think it's super relevant. It is not irrelevant. It will affect games. It's probably more relevant than Inhuman Weapon. That's just that effect is. I think the moving slow. I think what you said is relevant to keep in mind. Like knowing which of your characters can afford to be speed short, which ones can't. But in the chaos of a game, when you're already playing against an opponent, probably from behind, or potentially from behind, that is not a luxury you have. It's like, okay, well, I know I want this model. Like, I'm just not going to pick up one with Namor. It's like, that's not a choice you get in the game. You're already, like, scraping bomb the barrel for opportunities. Like, you can't just have half your list never pick up an extract on Fs. You lose that game if that's your plan, I think. When your opponent is not inflexible and you are incredibly inflexible because of like an arbitrary thought process like that, I think that's the way you just get out of games. And that's why I don't like it. I think it puts you in those impossible situations where your only choice is to make a bad one because they've removed the good choice for some reason. Zach, did I convince you at all?
Not really. I think in a sense the way, like, this sounds weird to say it this way. This is well designed because it's too fast scoring for the attrition teams. So they don't want to play it because there's too many points on the board. So the cost of it is they don't want to use it. But then for this scenario teams, the speed short and the potential poison means they also don't want to play it. And to me, that's like, okay, that means it's actually balanced in the middle. That it sounds weird if we play this, no one is over the moon that this is what it is. Neither of them are like, oh, it's Terrigen canisters, I get to win now. And I feel like that means it's actually balanced in the middle and on the better side, that there's not one team that's like, okay, well, I win now because it's an F. It's like, no, there's a heavy tax in this one. You're not just going to get to run away like you would with the other two Fs.
I know we've talked about this previously. Do you guys know what the play rate on this mission is?
I think it's the lowest, isn't it?
Super low.
It is the
1%?
lowest play rate of legal extracts at 3% play rate.
I'm surprised it's 3%.
That's so low. It's 1,000 games. The next lowest is also low, but it's well over 1,000. What does it see? 1,100? No, that's not legal. 1,800 is the next lowest. It's almost half the next lowest mission. That's crazy low. The fact that nobody wants to play it, I don't think is a selling point. It's like nobody wants to play Spider Portals either, but that wasn't a good thing. Okay, now you guys have outvoted me. You guys have an average vote of over 7, and I'm at a 3. So, okay, we're on the final mission. We have Unexpected Guest Crash Royal Wedding. I gave this a 4.
I gave this an 8.
I gave this a 3.
I have also given this a 3.
What the fuck, Zach?
I'll
Parker
defend
agrees
this.
with
I've
you
got no
with an
doubt.
8.
Hell yeah,
Then
Parker. Let's
Aaron
play
put
this.
it at a 5. So
on behalf of Parker,
oh
let
my
me.
God. Oh my god. This gives us a rating of 5.17.
The reason I scored this high, something I factored in on all of these is there a way? You talked about Nick Fury, we've talked about Inhumans, we've talked about other turn 1 shenanigans that really give one team a significant advantage. Those practically don't exist on this. It's F without the middle, you both have your home 2, it's very hard to dive and get away with it. So there's not a way to really break this into a 3-1. Technically, Quicksilver still works, but I think that's like the only example.
The strongest,
Quicksilver
the strongest thing in the game right now.
So there's not very many turn 1 plays that really give one team, like with or without priority, neither team has like an extract advantage in almost every game. I also think the mechanic of you getting pushed, we talked about how random spider infected is. This is a guarantee, so there's a clear criteria. You're within 2, you're outside of 2. Also, the fact that you both have agency in it, so you could be like, oh well, it's King T'Challa that has it. I want him to be closer to that point to fight, so I'm going to pick that one. But then my opponent has the angle to choose. Okay, well, do I want to make sure he's within 2 of my model? Do I want to make sure he's outside of 2 of this model? There's agency on both sides for holding it, where I feel like it creates a balance, like a good balance between that. It's hard to tilt this one way.
So that's my question. How does this work?
So if you are holding an extract,
Okay, so player A being the player with priority with the extract.
Yes.
Then what happens?
They pick a secure.
Who's they? Player A?
Player A with holding the extract picks a secure. Player B pushes them towards that secure.
Okay, so my opponent performs the push. I choose the location.
Correct.
That is not what this says. This says the opposite. Are you sure that you're not reversing it?
No, it's right, because it says the controlling player chooses a secure.
It says during the power phase. There's, by the way, I read this 5 times before we started. And
I played it wrong the first 4 times I played it. I don't
know that anyone's ever played it right, because I don't know what's supposed to happen, really. All right, so there's 2 different ways you could word this. They didn't choose. There's a wordier version that's very clear. They didn't choose that. There's a much easier way to say it that's different and more loose, and so you could misinterpret it, but it'd be pretty straightforward. It'd be easier to understand, but it'd be less well formatted. So during the power phase, starting with the player with priority, for each character that player controls that is not within 2 of a secure, that is also hoarding a guest, the controlling player's opponent chooses a secure. How is that I choose? That is impossible to be I choose. Therefore, and then it says the following sentence is that character is pushed towards the secure objective short. Period space. The opposing player resolves the push. So to me, that means I choose the point, you resolve the push. As me being player that controls the model. Now I'll read it again. Slower. That way, so keep this in mind, is that one player has the model, one player doesn't.
Controlling
player has the model.
Yeah.
Starting with the player with priority, for each character that player controls, not within 2 of a secure objective, that is also holding a guest, comma, the controlling player's opponent chooses a secure objective. I don't know in what English language that is myself.
It is not.
Then
I agree with you. This is the way it's
character
been ruled,
is pushed.
the problem.
I don't care. Ruled how? Ruled what way?
There's a ruling on this one?
But
No, but like what ruling?
No, I agree with
where
you.
is this
I don't.
ruling?
I think this is how it was worded, and then people asked questions on the forum, and then this is the clarification that came out.
Where is it said that the forums is legal rulings?
I think the forums
it's just a rules forum. Yeah, like it's a forum on a website somewhere. That's not the rules. Like I don't care. That character is
the wording
pushed
on this
towards
is
the
very
chosen
bad.
secure. It has to be I pick for my model and then you push them. That has to be that. It can't be anything. They'd have to literally change the wording on the card. I'm on their website. I guess I'll look up just to double check. I'm gonna pull it up, make sure it hasn't been errated. And it very well might have been. I don't look at this very often. Errata. Escort to Safety's been errated. Too bad it's banned. 6 Mojo Ball cards have been errated.
Boy.
Other than that, no missions have been errated according to this. So yeah, that's what it says. So anyway, regardless of how it works, I don't think it's particularly unbalanced one way or the other. As long as it's not the same player choosing both, I think it's fine. But if the same player chose both, they would just say towards a secure token. Like if there's any number of ways to word that, that's not confusing. So I probably would have given this a 5 if it wasn't for how convoluted this fucking rule is.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually don't hate the mission at all. I think a 4 is fine. It's not a compelling mission. It's not a mission I'm excited to play. It's just a mission that isn't bad, which to me is a 4. Like it's a 4 out of 10. I'm not pissed, but I'm not excited.
I kind of scored it pretty low because this essentially does nothing if you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And I think for me, again, the even-numbered extracts are weird because in concept, I think they're the most fair.
Oh, for sure.
But in practice, they're never the most fair. They're always the least fair. It's always one side has a huge advantage, which is weird because the odd numbers, it's like that's the expectation, so it's okay. But then the Fs are just so off the walls unbalanced.
And then an F by itself is enough points to end the game in almost 3 turns. So,
yeah, I cannot wait for that. What was it? We came up with that Inhumans list that scores like 8-1 on the first turn.
Ouch.
It's Prowler and
we talked about Prowler
the normal Inhuman package.
Yeah.
So if you play Mutant, Madman, and an F with Quicksilver takes one of their back points. They can't really stop it. You take the middle and both your back points. And then Prowler's last activation double moves and overflips their back point. And so you're scoring 3 of the blues and 4 of the reds. It's 7-2. And on the other side, you can just take Beast, who's a 4 physical, and just try and overflip the other one. You probably only need 2 successes most of the time, if they're not like super cautious about it. And so if you catch someone napping, it's an 8-1 first turn, which is congrats, game over. Like, I don't care if you daze 3 people on turn 2, it's still game over.
Yeah.
Because dazing 3 people just gets you back to parity. Yeah. Like, it doesn't even get you ahead.
8, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, thoughts on these, anybody?
I think we kind of talked about it the whole time we've been reviewing extracts and stuff. This is probably the worst I've seen for the mission pack.
Oh, I think this is hands down the worst mission packet we've had. The only argument for worse was the original 3-card Monty missions with Black Order, but that's because Black Order was broken and they never fixed it. That was the worst experience, but the missions were actually fine. There was just one egregious list, and nobody was willing to not play it.
So what I'll say is, when I build a list, I look at secures and I pick the secures I want to play, and then I generally choose the least worst extracts for what works for my list, which is unfortunate because that's half the game. But like I said, I gave Hammers a 10, and I like it because it's simple and smash more. And I feel like, especially with this last one, like Royal Wedding, it's a whole lot of words to do not a lot, and I'd rather you just simplify. I'd rather you go through and simplify and make them more interesting, but not overly convoluted.
Okay, cover your eyes, guys. Don't look at the list. What is the highest rated mission we gave?
hammers because it's a perfect 10 across the board.
Incorrect.
Was it? I want to say it was scrolls or.
Oh, I checked this earlier. I know what it is.
Cheater. I told you cover your eyes.
No, I looked earlier. Didn't look now.
All right, gouge your eyes out, then you'll forget. That's how it works. That's how seeing works.
Deadly Legacy virus.
It is Deadly Legacy virus. Worst, obviously, samples. What's the worst after samples? Without looking. See, I see you looking. I told you, just alt tab.
No,
Stop looking.
It's not even an alt tab. I got to look at the names because I can't remember the fucking crisis names. Okay. Let me.
Can't remember crisis
Yeah.
names.
Hold on, we got to pause. One pause.
Okay,
one
there
pause.
we go. All right.
Unexpected wedding guest. The enemy chooses the objective and resolves the push. So
Did you just chat GPT?
I've played this
both?
like both. No, I'm on the rules questions, and this is from March, and like I've played this recently, and like every time, like this is to your testament, Brandon. Like my opponent and I feel like we're confused every time this comes up. Of like,
Every
who's
single time
doing
you
the
play this
put, like
mission,
who's picking and who's doing it.
you're-
And it's like
Because
I
even
picked
if
the spot,
you
you do the put,
100%
and it's,
know, your opponent might not, and then you're going to argue about it. It's like, well, I've always played it this way. You're telling me I'm doing it wrong. It's like, well, kind of, but also I don't care. Like,
yeah.
it's not worth arguing about. It's the thing. The only time I've ever argued with an opponent on how a mission worked was when my opponent was a complete fucking moron, and he told me that pay to flips didn't care who had flipped it last. It was most contesting. I was like, you're an idiot.
Wait,
Like,
what?
that's the
What?
that is the only wrong opinion to ever have. Like, he said, so we were playing Mutant Madman, and I overflipped his point. So I was like, all right, I scored this. I was like, no, I got 2 people here. I was like, yeah, but I won the roll as the last activation, so it's my point right now. He's like, yeah, but it says in the rule book I score it if I have more people. I was like, no? And then we called the judge, and the judge was like, yeah, like, this guy's right. Like, he scores it. He overflipped it. And his opponent's like, show me in the rule book where it says
Here.
that. But it doesn't. It doesn't say it in the rule book. Because it says it on the mission card. It says on the mission card the player, who is controlling, it's whoever's controlling versus secured. And so it's like, you're controlling it, so you score the victory points. And it was just like, this guy would not take no for an answer. And he just kept arguing with the judge for like 25 minutes. Ate up half an hour of our round timer, which we weren't using chess clocks.
Naturally.
And it's like, we played 2 rounds of that game, and we got told dice down 3 times by 3 different judges. And I was like, we're not stopping it. We're going to finish round 2. Like, what do we even score? like what are we
4
doing?
and 3.
It was the dumbest. That guy was a volunteer, like, rules assistant for the event as well. Like, they were playing because they wanted to play in one of the events. It was the worst experience I've ever had at Adepticon. It was terrible.
Oh, it was Adepticon too.
It was at Adepticon, which the first year was pretty, like, nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But
Well, that happens.
okay, so worst after samples is Montesi.
Ooh,
Yep.
And then close ahead of that is Spider Infected.
that makes sense.
On the other end of the spectrum, the only other 2 to break 7 after Legacy Virus was Scrolls and Worthy.
Yeah, but someone poisoned the well on Worthy.
Yeah.
Is he the only one?
And so if we get...
Is that the only 10?
it was... no, we had 3 10s because Aaron's psychotic,
that's right.
and he gave Alien Ship and Legacy Virus 10s as
Yeah,
well.
his...
And I was actually just going to go through an Aaron's and just shrink it in, like, just like everything goes up or down 2, and just push it to the middle, like... But if we take away Josh's Worthy, it's 6.4, which would still put it 4th instead of 3rd.
Cowards.
4th is fine.
Odin shames
that
you.
sounds right.
So, again, like, if you want to play a fighty mission, that's cool. I really respect that about you, but, like, Worthy has flaws. And if you don't recognize them, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
He's never ran into that scenario. It's always been great for him.
That's fine. Like, you can really enjoy playing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, Researcher was a very flawed mission, but it was also better than the alternative, and so everyone played it. And then they got rid of it. Now, guess what? Everyone's at the mercy of everything. Like,
Josh also used to hate Senators because I would just boat race him regularly with Mystique. And so turns out he just was getting smoked by the perfect team to play that. And then once I quit playing that and all that got changed, now it wasn't so bad.
Every time I take
Yeah.
Daredevil, it's really good with Senators. And then my 5 threats does splash damage. It's one of the 4 characters that does splash damage.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate. They hate us because they ain't us, you
Yeah.
know?
Didn't Parker give samples like an 8? I don't even remember.
Oh, and his initial?
He gave it a
He
7.
did
I
give
think. I think
samples.
we had to
No, it
cut
was
that.
an...
I
I think it
deleted
was
it. I was
an
like, I
8.
am not putting that on our list. I'm going to leave it undefined. Okay. Any other interesting stuff? So we have about 5 of the 12 are within about a half point of average, I would say. Because so if you consider 5 average, it's really 5.5 is average, but if you expand it down to 5, so from 4.67 up to 5.67, we have 5 missions of Senators, which is, again, very inflated by 2 people's numbers. Cubes, Wedding Party, Advanced Weaponry, and Terrigen Canisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the true median, if you will, would be Unexpected Guess, Inhuman Weapons, and Terrigen Canisters are like the meat of the middle.
I'd say that's fair.
I'm surprised Spider Infected got the lowest rating of the Fs. I really thought it was going to be the highest of the Fs, but
it's
clearly I was wrong.
I think as a consensus, we just generally dislike the randomness of it because we all have felt the sting of.
It's fair.
Oh, hey, my models get moved, but my opponent, who has more, do not get moved. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. Okay. So let's jump into our mission review for this week, and we'll get into doing the secures. First one this week number 2 is Deadline to Destruction. I love this mission. Nigel, you're wrong. You're very, very wrong. Did you guys hear about Nigel's first game on Deadline? He was so angry.
I believe so, actually.
He just walked into it without really understanding it, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he just picks up and he just starts taking damage. Everyone's doing damage with the interaction, and I think it was he's playing X-Force or something, and all of his guys just died. It's just this mission is so stupid.
X-23 picks one up, dies. Shit. Okay, go Cable. Cable picks one up, dies. Shit. Okay, go Domino.
Yeah, it's pretty much. This mission has a 4% play rate, which I think is pretty low. I'm surprised more people don't play it. I love this mission.
I think it's because it's well designed, and the Chuds who play this game hate well designed missions.
I think that's exactly correct.
Yeah. I think that's 100%.
Yeah, this one doesn't skew aggressively one way or the other. It's very balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's kind of that D deployment, so you would think high scores would want it, but it's pushed in just enough to make combat interesting, and then combined with the interaction, you actually have to think and plan where you're going to put your stuff. I've only, I think, seen 3 or 4 times somebody's taken damage with it. I think it was Josh's Shadowlands Daredevil. I think you've taken more damage on Deadline than any other player I'd ever seen just from one game.
Let it be known.
You would not drop that token. You're I will die holding this token.
I want it known. I will take that fucking damage every single time you do it to me. I do not
play
care.
Josh, play this interaction.
I will not drop it. You can pry it when you earn it from me, and that's all you need to know.
I like that. So I guess we'll just run through the information on it real quick. This is a 16-point mission with the objective set up actually in a diamond pattern this time. So it's range 5 from all 4 board edges, not just the close ones. And then you can interact with any of the points. They're scored as normal, but you interact with them. You choose enemy character within range 3. If they are holding an extract token, they may drop all of their tokens. If at the end of that choice they still have a token, they suffer 1 damage and gain 1 power. Our Hellfire Club list was built on the back of this mission because the whole concept was how can we play Juggernaut in today's meta? Because Juggernaut on this mission just doesn't take damage. If you have anyone who can spend to reduce damage to 0, not from an enemy, you can spend the power to take 0. You still gain the 1 power because it's just both happen. It's not like cubes, which it's contingent on the damage. Yeah. So yeah, you just nothing happens. They just spend a power for no reason, and so he's basically immune to Deadline. But he's also really good at activating Deadline because he's so fast and he has a bunch of power. So he can do that, and it's really fun.
Yeah, Jugs is I think the all-star for this match. Zach, do you run this with your Brotherhood setup now, or?
I don't have it right now, but I'm thinking about it because I have Jugs, and because I think there's a lot of it's just extra damage on top of. And I have Hellfire Club, I guess. So I probably should run this. I do like it. I do think there's a few models that really love it. Like you said, anybody who DRs to 0 loves it. Those stupid ass Hydra grunts love it. It gives them a purpose to just run back and forth between these, and the distance is really nice. Like, I actually wish we had more of these.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I want this to be the new deed, like flat. I want this to be the standard deed.
This is a great shape. Yeah,
they switched to Macron, sword to Macron, and it feels a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, the problem with sword base is always the secondary effect of it's a win more versus a rubber band. You should always have rubber bands as mission components as opposed to win mores. It's just so much worse. And so because of that, it's now not so bad, and it's not a score all, right? Isn't Imcron for each, not score 3-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that also fixed a lot. And it was also during the heyday of like Thanos when control was all over the place. So you just, once you got behind, you were done. You would never score again. Because now that they've got an advantage of pushing your best model away, they'll just keep taking more and more of the beta flips, and then eventually it'll be 4-0 and you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
I very, very, very much like Deadline Destruction. I think it's the best mission they've designed in a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of silly to see them do something like Deadline, and then they're like, but what about samples? How do you guys feel about that? It's like, can we get like consistency when it comes to when you guys come up with practices, please? Can we get you playtesting them?
Yeah.
'Cause Deadline is from the War Kings pack. It's not one they just introduced, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
See?
No, yeah, they were designed at the same time, presumably by the same group of people, which makes me really concerned about who's in that group. Like, it's like Charles Manson and Charles Xavier in the same group.
One insane person, one sane person. It's the perfect team.
Yeah. It's like Harvey Two-Face over here making missions. Like, thanks,
Three-Face!
Like, fucking Christ. Yeah, flip coins and evil and good. Like, that's what we're about over
like,
here.
Cool.
God damn
For every
it.
Deadline, we'll send you 2 Terrigen Mists.
Fuck me. All right. I think that's going to wrap it for us today. We're already doing plenty of content. Do you guys want to do anything else?
No, currently playing or anything. Unless we want to run through any of that.
I thought we were all currently playing webs.
We are. We're all
Yeah.
webs players.
Not
now.
yet. Everyone plays webs.
We are putting together.
October 24th.
I think we're putting together a gang. Anyone is allowed to join. We're just going to travel in a pack to tournaments until they do something.
Yeah. The only requirement is that you'll have to get 10 games of practice a month with webs to make sure you stay frosty.
You have to be good. You gotta. Those rookie numbers. You gotta bump those numbers up.
Yeah. Boy. I'm probably just going to take a 3-month break from MCP once webs come out, because there's just going to be webs everywhere for like 3 months. And so I'll just be playing Old World during that time period. Like, I'll wait for that to blow over. Because thank God,
we'll see
like,
what happens.
Our community is actually pretty great, I think, because nobody's really harping on like the really busted stuff. And even when like we had more players than we do now, nobody would just keep playing the same list over and over again without the fact that, like, hey, I need practice for this event. So it's like, hey, I understand that.
Yeah, that's
like,
how it's
I'll
always
give you
been.
games. But as long as there's a goal in mind, like, if we know that you're playing the best list in the game, like, why are we playing games then? Like we know your list is better than mine, and the missions that we're going to play are going to be more beneficial for you than me. So, like, what the fuck are we doing? It's like, if you walked up to a table and you're like, hey, let's get some practice, you're like, hey, you flip hammers with, like, Thanos Guardians, you're like, do you want to just play again? You're like, yeah, let's just play a different game. Like, there's no reason us playing this. Like, we know you win this game. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's going to wrap for me today. I do have one thing I wanted to tell CJ. Your days are numbered, sir.
Oh, for my list.
I've been cooking up a list for you. You're going to fucking hate it. And it's not going to be for the reason you think.
Oh, God. That's such a loaded thing. There's so many things I could hate.
It's going to be a betrayal of character.
Oh, no. Oh, God. That could mean anything.
Yeah, and so I'll be playing maximum scoring Web Warriors until CJ finishes painting my Hydra list. Then I'll be playing Hydra again.
No pressure, CJ.
I'm bringing... What piece are you missing still? Because I'm bringing...
I just need Omega
he's
Red,
done,
really.
then.
That's all I need.
He'll be there. He'll be there
good.
tomorrow night.
That's all I need. The rest of it I could wait forever.
Yeah, they're on the desk. They're primed.
Cool. Alrighty. Cool. Alright, well, that's going to do it for us today. Hopefully you guys had a good time. This has been Brandon.
And CJ.
And Zach.
And Josh.
And you just listened to Deadline to Destruction.
So what are we going to call this thing? I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.